Wagwan. Basically, I wanted to quickly explain some of the like workflow for the M8, because I know it can be a little bit frustrating, like certain aspects of it. So hopefully, like some of this will make sense and like clear up some of the parts that are confusing. So basically, the main thing you have to understand, like once you get it down, everything makes sense and it clicks, is the chain and the phrase and how the chain and the phrase work. So hold on. So here's your song screen. And then like if you ever get lost, because I know the navigation can be confusing, always check the bottom right because you've got the little like grid thing on the bottom right. So like you do, right? Make chain 0 0. And then in chain 0 0, we're gonna make phrase 0 0. Now like a good way to think of it is you can always swap out the word phrase for pattern. So we're gonna make pattern 0 0, right? So go here, instrument 0 0, and then we hit shift and right to go into the instrument menu. We're gonna load a sample. Hold on, let me see what we got. Let's just load a loop. All right, we'll load this one up, right? So we got it here. We're just gonna play it. No, I think it's 124. So change the tempo. It should play clean. Right? So we got that here. This is pattern 0 0 on chain 0 0. Now, naturally, next thing you do is you go up in tens in the song view. So chain 10. Now, we have chain 10 here. If we put pattern 0 0, right? Let me make sure I'm being super clear. So you have track 1, that's playing the loop. We're going to go to track 2. We're going to go chain 10. If we put 0 0 here, you're going to hear it's going to play the loop twice, and it's going to give you that weird phasing. That's because the tracks, they share patterns basically. So 0 0, pattern 0 0 here is always going to be pattern 0 0 on every track. It's always going to be the same loop here, right? So to avoid that, what you want to do is you want to match your pattern number here with your chain number. That's usually an easy way to keep yourself organized. Now I like to do 10, 20, 30, 40, but you can do it like however you want. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. So let's go 0 0 and 10. Now here we're on pattern 10, chain 10, right? We're going to put something down and we're going to create a new instrument. Now you can do this by hitting edit, hold edit and then hit right, or you can just double tap and it will create a new one on the open slot. So we're going to head right, shift and right. Again, we're going to hit edit, scroll over, pick another sample. Let's load a kick. All right, so let's load this one. So we're going to put 4 triggers in. You can do, the quick way is you want to hold shift and hit option and then hit it again. That's going to select this column, and then you hold option and hit left, and it's going to fill, like autofill. You hit left again until it says fill times 4 at the bottom. That's going to give you 4 on the floor. Okay, So we go back to the song screen. If you ever want to hear, because right now it's just playing this track. If you ever want to hear the full song from anywhere in the M8, shift and play. So now we should hear the loop and the kick. So same thing, we're gonna go to the next track, track 3. We're gonna go 20. Now with chain 20, we want to hit pattern 20. Edit and up will go up in 10s. So let's add, I don't know, let's find another sound to add in here. Hold on. Hold on, I'm about to do something, but just ignore what I'm about to do. We'll get to this stuff. All right. We'll get to that. So again, we have 3 tracks playing. Track 1 is playing the hi-hat loop. Track 2 is playing the kick. Track 3 is playing the clap. And we have phrase 20 or pattern 20. That's playing the clap. Phrase 10 or pattern 10 is playing the kick. And phrase 00 is playing the loop, the hi-hat loop. So we're gonna add one more instrument. We'll go 3. So yeah, chain 30. We're gonna go pattern 30. What should we add? Okay, so we have 4 tracks playing 4 individual patterns, right? Now, right now they're all just 4-bar loops. If we want to make them longer, simple way to do it is, so you have 4, 8, 12, and 16 down here, right? So if I set these all to 0, now this is track 1 playing the hi-hat loop. I want it to repeat 16 bars. So I do 4, 8, 12, 16. So it should play, hold on. It should play for 16. Now what you're going to see happen is, let's create 4 of each, right? What you're going to see happen is track 1 here is going to play. And these are gonna, like track 2, 3, and 4 are gonna progress quicker. That's because they're only 4-bar loops, and track 1 is a 16 bar loop. So how we fix that, let's demonstrate. You see how they're not in sync? They're not in sync, they're not together. So what you want to do is you want all your chains to be the same length, right? So if chain 00 is 16 bars, I want chain 10 to be 16 bars. How do we make chain 10 16 bars? All we do is just 4, 8, 12, 16. Same with chain 20, 4, 8, 12, 16. Same with chain 30, 4, 8, 12, 16. Now they're all going to be in sync. And they all move together. And they're all synced up. So that works as well. If you have, let's say you have, for example, you have a loop that's longer than 4 bars, right? You have an 8 bar loop. And you do this and your loop keeps repeating, right? What you can do is set an empty pattern so it doesn't repeat, right? So if I have a loop here that's 8 bars, if I set these to 1, because these are all empty patterns, right? Pattern 01 is empty. So what that'll mean is this one will play for as long as it can play without retriggering. So this is a 8 bar loop apparently. Then it'll stop. Now what's happening is it's playing it for 4 bars. And then the next 4 bars, it's not triggering anything. So it's just letting it play. Now, if I want that to repeat, I've got 4, 8 here. So I just set another 0 here and it will re-trigger on the 12th bar. So that is how you basically extend the chain length, not the pattern length. Patterns are always 4 bars. You can't make them longer than 4 bars. That's just how the M8 operates. That's basically it. Once you kind of get your head around that, like how like 4 bars works and how, like, you know, it's stuff that you know, but obviously this is a weird different, like trackers are weird. Trackers are different. It's, you know, working down, like moving down, and there's, you know, it's all numbers and shit like that. So once you get your head around that, then it will just click and everything will make sense. Yeah, that's basically it. That's everything I wanted to explain. So what we can do is let's add some shit. So this one is like it's like a long loop. I only want like the first stab so I can like pitch it up and use it. So there's a couple ways you can do this. You can shorten the length of it here in the instrument edit view. So hold on. right there. So you can shorten it here. That's probably the quickest and easiest way to do it. The only problem is that you get like it will stop instantly. It will just cut off at the end. If you want it to tail off a bit, so you hit from the instrument edit view, you hit shift and up. Now, if you look at the bottom right, it'll show you M. M is for modulators. These are basically how you control like the envelope or like how long the sample or any instrument hits for, the decay, LFO, so you can like, control all kinds of funky features here, all kinds of stuff here. I'm gonna do attack, hold, decay envelope, and I'm gonna set it to the volume. So this basically will shape how the instrument plays, right? It like hits once and then it goes down. If you look at the amount, you can see that white dot. That will always show you, it shows up on like everything. It will always show you like what's being modulated, what's being affected. So I want that to be a quicker decay. And there you have it. So if I now another key thing to remember is option and edit is your friend. It's the delete command, so the delete stuff. But it also will set these things called off commands. Off command is basically like, imagine you're playing a keyboard, right? And you hit a note and you hold it and then you let go. Off is like telling it to let go, basically. Because how the M8 works, how trackers work is it's MIDI, but there's no on off. You have to tell it how long you're pressing it for, basically. Otherwise, it will just hold the note, right? That's how you get like samples that will just play out. So if you want it to stop, you can set an off command. That's good for if you don't want to do what I did over here in the with the envelopes, and you don't want to do that. You can just like set an off command. You hear it kind of cuts it off short. Yeah, that's basically off commands. Now, if I want to create like a variation, what you can do is I would set 51, right? 51 is an empty pattern. The reason why I would do 51 is because I like to keep, I'm in chain 50. I like to keep all like chain 50 in the fives, right? So I would do, this is a pattern, this is a different pattern, this is a pattern. I would go all the way through these. I would rinse these out as patterns, right? It just keeps it more organized that way. So if I wanted to make a variation at like, I wanted it to repeat 3 times, so 4, 8, 12 bars, then the last 4 bars I want it to change up, I would just go to 51 and I would put like new notes in or whatever. There's another way you can do this. Instead of manually, sorry, I'm getting lost. Instead of manually hitting 51 and then going into it and then creating the notes, if I just wanted to edit the notes that I already have in the pattern 50 here, what I can do is I can hit, I believe it's, you hit shift, you hold shift, hit option, and then you hold shift and hit edit. Now you see at the bottom it says cloned phrase 50 to 51. Basically what that does is it copies everything in 50 and it automatically makes it it copies it and pastes it to the next available phrase, the next available pattern. So I set 51 here, I set this back to 50. So 51 now is copied 50. Now I'm free to go in here and like edit notes and change stuff. So what will happen is so if we listen to the whole phrase now. So we've got a 16 bar loop with variation at the end. That's basically how you want to organize stuff. Excuse me. The last thing I probably want to touch on or reference is you see in a lot of people's patterns, in a lot of people's songs, sorry, in bundles, and mine too, they have FE. Like a bunch of FEs around. There's a couple of reasons why people do this. It's mainly so that your all your tracks play along at the same speed, right? So what happens is if I don't have anything here, did my thing just crash? Down. My image just crashed. That's crazy. Hold on. Give me 1 second. That is a mad thing. There we go. All right. So if I on track 6, if I don't have anything here, what's gonna end up happening is, so let's just pretend we put something on 6, right? Say we had pattern 60, right? And we want it to start like here, right? And then we want it to cut out again. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna copy this row. You copy is your friend. It's gonna save you a lot of time. Hold shift and edit, and then you just move the arrows around to get the field or the area that you want to copy. And then at this point, if you hit option, it will copy. If you hit option and edit, it will cut, and then we'll just paste it underneath. And then let's say we want it to cut out here, right? Now instinct will tell you, oh, just put it where you want it to play, and then it will play, and then it will stop playing, right? But what will actually happen is it will play, and then over these 4, like tracks 1 to 5 will keep going down, and 60 will just repeat. That's because how the song arrangement works in here is it'll just loop if it doesn't have anywhere else to go. If there's nothing after it and nothing before it, it will just loop if it doesn't have anywhere to go. So what people do is they make these FE chains. A FE chain is just like an empty chain. So you create 4 FEs, and it's just 16 bars of empty. And what that does is it keeps the track, it keeps the song playing. So let's say we have 60 underneath here. This is getting long, but I'm gonna copy this, paste it down here. Now what's gonna happen is 60 is gonna play, and then it's gonna stop playing here, and then it's gonna play again. But the key thing is that it's gonna follow along with the rest of the song. So if I had something on 60, it would have played, and then it would have stopped, and it would have played. So basically that's how you keep all your tracks like organized and like keep everything playing along, so you don't have weird things where like track 1 is going normally but track 2 is repeating at double the speed and like all kinds of madness. It just keeps everything in sync, because trackers, you have to, there's no like, with the song view, there's no, it doesn't automatically know, right? So you have to keep everything in sync. But yeah, that's basically everything. Let's put some in 60 actually. The kit that I put in the Discord, you load it up. They're all instruments, so they're all like it's like 6 or 7 basses, and then all chords. These are all using like the internal synths. You load them up. You just go instead of like sampler, you just start a new instrument, and then you hit load, and then you find it, and they're like all of the instruments are .m8i files. So you just load up whatever. You can preview them too. Same way you would normally just hit play. So the way I'm like repeating, like starting the song over and over again, is shift and play. Because sometimes, like if the song's playing and you don't want to wait for it to loop again, you just hit shift and play, and it'll just repeat it. That saves you time when you're putting in notes and stuff. Baseline. put something on 7. So I'm just making something now. Obviously this is not slap by any means, but just to demonstrate kind of at least like how I do the workflow. So this D sharp here, I don't like it playing every time. What you can do is you can mess with probability. So you can set a percentage that, or a chance that this note will be triggered here. And you do that with there's a number of ways you can do it, but I do it with the effects. Now you have 3 effects columns here in the M8, which might seem limiting, but you can freak shit with the tables. But the tables I wouldn't worry about now. They get like complex. It's basically just another envelope. That's one way to think about it. But so we're gonna add, I believe it's chance. So they'll explain to you, if you look at the top left, they'll tell you like what they do and like how they operate. There's stuff like arpeggiators and retriggers for like stutters. This remix one is really sick. Like you can basically like, you can do like beat repeats and like all kinds of stuff. The pitch bend, the pitch slide I use a lot for sliding between notes. It like gives you glide. But we're gonna use chance. Now to tell you chance to the left. So what you can do is you can also, with these effects, you can affect other effects basically. So what chance to the right is saying is, if I have something here, like let's say, I don't know, if I have like oscillator shape change, the digit to the right, 0, 0, the second digit is gonna be, there's a 20% or 53% chance that this effect here is gonna activate, right? But I want it to the left. I want to chance this note playing. So I'm probably gonna have to move the delay over. I think. Will it still chance? I think so. So I'm gonna set this to 0, and then I'm gonna go up in tens. So if you see at the bottom, it'll say 40%, 50, 46%. So there's a 46% chance that this D4 is gonna trigger. Simply because I don't like it playing every time. And if we add like probability, it's like a cheat code to get movement and sound like you're changing stuff when you're not really. So let's try it. You see how it's like it's playing sometimes and then other times it's not playing. That's the chance. We've got it at 46. So it's like 50-50 basically chance that this is gonna play. But that's just an example of kind of some of the stuff you can do with the effects. Obviously stuff like, if I don't like the filter, if I think the filter's too low on this one, or actually let's do it on one of these. I can turn the filter up, like pretty much any of the effects on the instrument page here, you can use as effects. So a quick way to do is the filter, right? Let me play this. That's what the filter is doing. If I want to change this manually in the like pattern view for this particular step, say I highlight the cutoff, I think I hit edit and then go to the effects page and hit edit again, and it will automatically like set the right effect, and then you can hear it changing, right? So that's just for this particular step here. I want this step, the cutoff, to be a little bit higher. and it will do that. This is kind of annoying. So I'm gonna add pitch slide on here, and you'll see it'll blend between the notes. Pitch slide with a lot of the effects, you kind of want between like the 1 to 6 range. It's because the MA operates on a 6 tick per step clock. It sounds like nonsense, but that's kind of how it operates. It's just basically how each step is divided. It's how they count each individual step, how many parts, basically how many divisions are in each step. That's how you get like swing on here. But like with a lot of the effects, you kind of want it between 1 and 6, because when you get to 1 and 5, sorry, when you get to 6, then it's like a whole step worth of change. So you see how it's like gliding between the notes. Now, 7 was just going at its own pace. That's because it's one pattern, so it's 4 bars, and all the other ones are 16 bars. I'm repeating myself, but repetition. just like basic mute and unmute stuff. So mute is Option and Shift together. It also will tell you like the track information, so how long this particular track is if you hold it long enough. It'll tell you at the bottom. So you can just do stuff like mute and then unmute stuff. Solo is, I think it's hold Option, and then it'll solo anything left of this track, and then hit right Option left, sorry, and it'll solo anything left of this track, and Option right will solo anything to the right. And then you can solo an individual track by hitting Option and Shift. Sorry, Option and Play. Obviously, these shortcuts are like they're just muscle memory, and like the more you do them, the more you get used to it. Pretty much with everything with the M8, it's just a lot of like even like I get lost, and I'm just like, where am I again? But you just like it's a lot of like muscle memory, and when you understand that it's chain, so it's basically big to small, right? Song is your biggest increment, chain is your second biggest, and phrase is your smallest increment, table is your smallest increment. But for the argument's sake, phrase or pattern is your smallest increment of 4 bars. Once you understand that, if you're trying to go, okay, let's say I want to find phrase 3, or like whichever one's on track 3. So I'll go highlight track 3. I know it's in chain 20, so I'm gonna hold shift and hit right to go into chain 20, and then I want to see the pattern here. So I want to hit shift and hit right, and that will take me to the note edit screen, or the phrase or the pattern. And then if I want to affect the instrument, I select the note here, and then I hit shift and right, and it'll take me to the instrument page. So like it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense once you get your head around it. It's just directions. You don't have to know like which commands do what. But it's just like you get your head around which way you're going, and like shit makes sense. So yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, it's honestly like the best. It's one of the best purchases I've made in like the last couple of years. Just like what it can do and how granular you can get with it, based on its size, is insane. Like it's basically Ableton that you can fit in your pocket. That's battery powered. That does stereo sampling. That does MIDI. Like it's just like bro, did you have to put everything in there? And it's touchscreen for no reason. Like really nice effects. And all the things that it lacks, what's cool about trackers is because it's basically programming. If you can think of it, there's a way to do it. Like there's no sidechain compressor in here, but you can do it with the table, which is what I was doing earlier. There's no like time stretch, but you can time stretch using where am I got lost. You can time stretch using LFOs, like the old school sampler tricks. So it's like super powerful, honestly. Like even if trackers aren't your thing, I would recommend trying it out. There's a couple ways you can try it. So at the moment, the version 1 sold out, but they have something called the headless version, which is basically if you buy the chip, it's called a Teensy 4.1 or 4.0. It's a chip that the M8, it's the brain that the M8 runs off. If you buy that and a SD card, which like a micro SD, which everyone has, and a USB to plug it into your computer, you can basically run the M8 because the software is open source, basically most of it. If you have those things, you can run it on your computer. So if you can't get the physical M8, you can still run it on your computer. And I've seen people use like Xbox controllers to control it and move around on here. But I think Teensies are like $80 Canadian tops. They're not like super expensive. SD card is SD card. Everyone's got SD card. And the USBs, everyone's got USB. But like, yeah, if you want to run it and you don't have the physical M8 and you don't want to spend, you don't want to buy like, scalper prices, get a TNC and run it. It's called headless. There's a bunch of like tutorials on how to run it. People have you can run M8 on your Steam Deck if you're slick enough with a TNC. So don't be discouraged if you can't find a new one. If you want to try a tracker, um, there's ways to get around it. Obviously, there's also like other computer-based trackers like Renoise. There was the one that Devin was using. I always forget the name. Um, but there's obviously other options. So don't be discouraged by like how it looks. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It looks like it looks like TPS reports, blah blah blah. But try it if you can. It's like actually fun and like super powerful. And even if like this type of sequencing isn't your work style, again, like if you can learn an SP404, you can learn anything. If you can learn the KO2, you can learn anything. If you can learn like these all these devices, learning them doesn't it's not gonna fuck up how you rock on that MPC if you learn a tracker. Same way, like learning an MPC if you're a tracker head is not gonna. It's not gonna. You're just gonna learn more shit. You're just gonna get better at learning new pieces of gear. So I recommend it. Yeah. If any you have any questions about anything, I'm in Discord all the time. So shout at me. Also, the Dirty Wave Discord is like the heads in there are super solid and they're always about the nigga that makes it is like hanging out in there 24/7. So if you got questions for him and shit, he's always in there, and there's always like helpful heads in there. But yeah, basically, man, this is long. I just wanted to explain some of the shit that was, that was giving man trouble and that. You get me? So yeah, look a quick thing on that explanation on that. Yeah, M8 tracker, get one. Don't be a hater.